Chengfu.
老师好。
Hello. Yes, it is October the 19th. It is our 21st class. Um, one more review class to go. So this class I'll be going through uh, footwork mostly. We'll practice together, and then anybody, if there are questions, we'll do questions, and if not, when we run out of questions, I'll actually start working on reviewing footwork. I think this class will be mostly footwork. Next class, we'll focus on coordination, upper and lower body together. And so we'll start with our foundation practice, still practice. Okay, so 站桩, feet parallel, shoulder width are a little bit wider, sink down. So we'll just do two-leg parallel stance today. We'll do about, I don't know, 3 minutes. We've been gradually making it longer. And so let's just do our posture checks. We all know them. So just do them on your own. And since there are really three goals here, first is our posture, second is breathing. So attend to your breathing and see how your abdomen is moving as you breathe in and out. One of the essential principles of Yang Chengfu is use intent, not force. And that's explained as actually being relaxed, the whole body being open and extended. And so the way in which we train ourselves to relax is through standing practice. And that helps us to become soft. And so let's do the checks again and think about opening and extending this time. So pushing the head up and relaxing the waist down. So we're getting extension in the spine from the neck up, from the shoulders down. And then with dropping shoulders and elbows, absorb the chest, pull the elbows out. That gives us opening in our arms horizontally. And so the checkpoint is the middle of your back. You should be feeling pulling up and down and left and right. Let's do 30 more seconds. And what I'd like us to try is when we actually practice the second section together, to actually see if we can feel this opening and extending in our form as we practice the second section. Head up, shoulders down, elbows down. Absorb the chest, round the back, and relax the waist, dropping the hips straight down. And release. Okay, let us do the second section together. We're actually going to practice the second section as a form in itself. So we'll actually start in prepare. When we do opening, we'll go up and then just go into cross hands. And then we'll go from there. And when we finish, we'll finish in cross hands, closing, and finish. So we're doing the second section. Prepare. And try and think about this relaxed, open, extended feeling as we go through the form. Open into cross hands. Embrace tiger. Return to the mountain. Roll back. Press. Push. Fist under elbow transition. Fist under elbow. Step back. Repulse monkey. 1, 2, 3. Diagonal flying. Raise hands. Step forward. White crane spreads its wings. Left brush knee. Needle at sea bottom. Fan through the back. Turn body. Chop with fist. Step forward. Parry, block, and punch. Step up. Grass bird's tail. Ward off right. Roll back. Press. Push. Transition to single whip. Single whip. Cloud hands. 1, 2, 3. High pat on horse. Separation kick. Transition. Right separation kick. Left separation kick. Transition. Left separation kick. Turn body. Left heel kick. Left brush knee. Right brush knee. Step forward, punching down. Turn body, chop with fist. Step forward, parry, block, and punch. Right heel kick. Left strike tiger. Right strike tiger. Right heel kick. Twin fists. Boxing opponent's ears. Left heel kick. Turn body. Right heel kick. Step forward. Parry, block, and punch. Apparent closing up. Cross hands. Closing. And finish. Stop. Okay. Do you have any questions? Usually have questions, but if not. So the thing that I've been thinking is always hard to do. Actually, it's hard to do in general, and it's hard to do on Zoom, especially, is footwork. And I don't think one can ever do too much footwork. And so I wanted to focus our first review on the footwork in the second section, which has kicks and turns, but it's also got a lot of bow stance in particular. And I found it useful to just review bow stance. And so just for the record, what are the requirements? So in all our stances, there are 3 requirements, plus 3 which are specific to different ones. So think for yourself what they are. The first of the 3 are our feet are either parallel or 1 foot is off by 45 degrees. And that's true as a rule. There's one exception. Anybody know what that exception is? And it's in the second section. In fact, it's the right separation kick. Because in the right separation kick, we start with our foot to the corner, having done high pat on horse, and we step out less than corner, more than square, and so our angle is more than 45. That's the only exception I can think of. So the first requirement is feet parallel or off by 45 degrees. The second one is weight over the bubbling well, which means weight evenly forward back. And then the third one is crotch rounded, which is inside outside. And so let's look at the bow stance. So the bow stance, so that's true for all stances. For the bow stance, we look at the location of the feet. So the first one is step out, shoulder width. And what is shoulder width? Shoulder width is width of the shoulders, same as the outside of the feet. And my check is I touch my thumbs and my pinky toes. My pinkies are on the middle of my feet. And that's because, in fact, when I turn my hands around and I put them against my chest, my thumbs are against the center of my shoulder. So that's a nice quick check. And if your feet are shoulder width apart, they should be like this. When we're in a bow stance, the check is you're in your bow stance, bring the back foot parallel to the front foot, Imagine feet are on rails, bring the front foot forward and check whether you're shoulder width. One of the things which is really is a confound is if one has a narrow bow stance. If you are in fact narrower than shoulder width and you bring your back foot in, it's really easy when you bring your back foot forward to swing it out. So you think your stance is wider, but it actually isn't. So after a while, you can just like check your feet, and that's what we'll do. We'll go through the form and we'll just stop every once in a while, bring the back foot forward and just eyeball it and see if you think that you're shoulder width. Sometimes we'll be too wide and sometimes we'll be too narrow. Okay, so the first requirement then is where do we put our feet? So shoulder width apart, and then the length is as far as you can go forward and bring it back. The second requirement is 60-40, the weight distribution. When you're forward, when you're back, it's 70-30. And then the last one is the shape of the legs. Shin is a little bit past the vertical. Back leg is straight but not locked. I think, for us, we've everybody who's on has practiced a lot, so you know that. The one that I think is the next thing to work on actually is your body setting. And so body setting, we know that we tilt our torso forward. That one's pretty straightforward, but it's to align our hips so that when we're in a bow stance, that our hip is centered between our heels. It's really easy to be like this. And so, in fact, in the second section, the one to look out, that I find to look out for, is strike tiger. I'm always off like this. For some reason, I want to go like this when I do strike tiger. So always try and do that. What helps with this is crotch rounded, because we also tend to bring our front knee in. And so when you do crotch rounded, it'll also help you to center your hips between your parallel feet. So I think those, oh yeah, and of course, that's body setting. The other part of body setting is body posture, and the body posture is what we did in standing practice. It's like those four things, right? So are there any questions on that? Should be. Yes, go ahead.
I actually would like a little advice. So one of my problems is that I tend to step too long.
Yep.
Sometimes it's too wide, but usually it's too long. That's what I perceive. And I notice it's in a few moves in particular, like parry, block, and punch. And I think part of the problem is that I'm coming forward. The first step is fine, but then I'm balancing on one leg for a little while I then reach out with the next one. And I'm already starting to say, bend my knee. And I'm thinking, I've just got to really go, like go for it or something. I don't know what it is, but I reach out pretty far.
Yeah.
And I'm aware of it after I've done it every time. And for some reason, I don't seem to catch myself doing it.
Okay.
To break the habit. And I think I do it in some other positions too, like for instance, with the strike tigers, because you're looking to the right as you put your foot out, you shift your body over, and then you're just sort of like winging it a little bit because, you got to do it all at once.
Yeah.
So sometimes I'm pretty wide with that one.
I mean, two things come to mind. One is, they're both sort of obvious.
Mm-hmm.
Although the second one I've only really started to discover recently myself. The first is just when you have a problem.
Mm-hmm.
To actually do Master Young's footwork practice. Right. So like, let's say one day a week, instead of doing the form, spend the 20 minutes just doing this. And actually, since you've identified that parry, block, and punch is an issue for you,
right,
do parry, block, and punch. Right? And then you can do parry, block, and punch, turn around, and do it the other way.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Just, muscle memory. That's the one.
right.
The next one goes actually to balance.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
so you remember this thing about bubbling well.
right.
Now, when, so for example, when we are in, let's say, brush knee left, and we go to brush knee right, we say shift the weight forward, but actually that should be understood as shift the weight in the direction of the foot that the foot is pointing,
Right,
right? So you're not shifting in this direction, you're shifting in that direction.
right.
And what that does is what you're actually doing is you're shifting your weight over the bubbling well. Because if you try, open the left foot and shift your weight in this direction,
Mm-hmm,
you'll
mm-hmm,
find that your weight goes onto the inside of your foot,
mm-hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
so what I've now found that's really helping me, and in fact with parry, block, and punch, is whenever I shift my weight, I actually pause for a moment and
Mm-hmm.
check if I have my weight over the bubbling well. Then I step out.
Yeah, I
Probably
don't always do that. I don't always think about, am I solid on my foot before I start reaching out?
so.
Yeah,
So again, one thing you could try is 1 day a week when you're
yeah,
practicing the form. Just do that.
yeah, that's a good idea. I will do
Um,
that.
and it's actually the other place where I'm finding this very helpful is single whip,
Mm-hmm,
right? Because from with single whip, when we're turning here and we bring our weight back, we pick this foot up. And if
mm-hmm.
we're too quick, we're already falling over in this direction
Right.
before we've really established this leg. It's good, it's solid. Now you can do anything.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it'll be interesting to see what you find, Maren, whether it like reduces that problem.
I've been thinking also about what Master Yang said about people should not be picking up their feet a lot. The most they should have like an inch off the ground. But
Yes.
there are many moves where you bring your foot in and then step out. I'm actually lifting it up, dangling it. My toes pointed down, mind you. And then I
Right.
step out. I mean, it's at an angle. It's not like this, but
Yeah.
like wherever. Anytime I need to bring my foot in,
Yeah.
I'm not even thinking about how far off the ground it is, but I think it's more than an inch. And I'm doing those things to remind myself to bring in my foot, and yet it slows down my movement, and I think it's too high. So I think I get caught
Yeah.
up a little bit in trying to
And also,
guys.
yeah, the other thing is be aware of when you bring in your foot, because so for example, when we're doing, left brush knee to right brush knee, we're not bringing in the foot, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just coming through the way the hip is bringing it through. So there are a few places where we do bring it in. So for
Right.
example,
Word up,
here,
right. Yeah.
but I think
Mhm.
that's the exception rather than the rule.
Yeah. Well, I may be doing it without realizing, doing it more than I realized too. So I have to look at all of that. So,
Yeah.
but thank you for your suggestions. I'm
Great.
going to look
That's a
into
great
those.
question. Yeah. 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 I think yeah. I think the other thing that you might think about, and I know that you have, we've all got our own body and legs and knees and things, is uh, particularly for you, Marion, I think about crotch rounded,
Yeah.
right?
That was the other thing I was going to bring up. Well, I find it really challenging to keep my back leg following the knee. And I'm aware that I
Yes.
should, but my version of trying to do crotch rounded and stand into a bow step is a very rigid position for me. To
Uh-huh.
keep myself crotch rounded, then it feels like I'm locked up and it's very artificial.
Okay. So
So something's, that's not really, I don't know, it's not comfortable for me, and I haven't figured out why that's challenging,
well,
physically challenging.
something that you might try. So we talked about footwork, right? Which is uh, actually comes in three parts, right? Footwork comes in three parts. We'll have the Master Yang Jin Catechism, right? What are the three parts? Three parts of are standing, moving, and rooting,
Oh,
right?
right. Yeah.
Right. And so, so far we've talked about standing, and then we talked about moving, which is moving in the direction of the foot, not picking it up too high, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Rooting comes in two parts. And so, it's like, what are the two parts, right? The two parts of rooting are push and support
Right.
and central settle down. And one of the exercises that might help you, this is another day of the week, since you're talking about crotch rounded, is
Mhm.
to actually do this swinging backwards and forwards.
Right.
Mike's example of, imagine there's a big hole cut in the floor and you've got a chain with a huge ball hanging through the floor, and you're swinging it forward and then you're swinging it back. As
Right.
you're swinging it forward, check your posture. Come back, check your posture. Go forward, check your crotch. Back, check your crotch. And so that you can just get some repetitions in the with just this part of your body.
So when you do that movement, do you find that your hips, when you come back, your hips kind of turn a little more toward the front, and then when you go forward, they turn a little more to the corner? I
Yes.
mean, that's correct, right?
Yeah, that's what I find. Yeah. Right.
Okay.
Because so when I'm in this position,
Mm.
my hips are open. It feels actually pretty much to the corner, but when you're forward, they're between straight and corner. And
Okay.
actually, another way you can think about that, or another place a place you explicitly see it, is when you're doing rollback,
Mm-hmm.
right? So you're here, and so when you're in this empty stance with your legs in both stance position, your hips are actually more to the corner than they are when you're forward.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. If you're doing it right. Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
And as Master Young said at the seminar recently,
Mhm.
um, with posture, you can get 99 out of 100 things right, and you're still not right. Like, you need to get 100 out of 100. So it's like, yeah. So yeah,
What a good memory you have. I remember him saying that now. Yes.
yes, right. So we're all works in progress.
But I don't
Um,
want to take up time for Michael's questions. He may want to talk about some things. So,
let us practice together a little bit, and then if you have
okay.
another question, let's do that. And Michael, you should feel free to chime in if you have a question that childcare allows, or any other questions. Okay, so tell you what, um, let's practice the form together from the start, the second section. And what I'm going to do is, every time we get to a point where I want to check footwork, I'm going to call a pause, and also I will call some of the transitions. And so when we think about the methods that we're using, right? Again, Yang Chengfu's principles. The one that I'm focusing on now is distinguish empty and full, because that's really about footwork. And so as we do this together, I'm going to really harp on which one is full, which one is empty, and feeling that change from empty to full. So let's do that together. So we're starting, and we'll just start in cross hands. Okay. Embrace tiger, return to the mountain. So we're shifting our weight to the right, pivot on the left heel, shift onto the left. Make sure you're on the bubbling well as you pick up your foot and step out. You should be able to stop at any point here if you're on the bubbling well on your left foot. Brush and push. Check your bow stance. So close the back foot, bring it forward. Is that a bow stance? A little bit narrow, but and next time it'll be better. Okay, roll back. Now we're 30% in the front. Press, 60% in the front. Push, moving it to the back and moving it forward. Transition to single whip. Shift the weight all the way to the back. Pivot on the right heel, right foot to the front. Now the right foot is going to be full all the way because you're going to pick up the left foot, step out. Now the left foot is full. Step with the right foot, toe touch. As you pull down with the left hand, the right leg is filling up. And fist under elbow. We're not going to spend a lot of time on empty stance, but check if you're one line, two sides. Nope, I'm not. I'm too narrow. Check that your hip is over your right foot, and you've got 30% on the left. Step back, repulse monkey. Swing back. Step quite long. Toe, ball, heel, push forward. Step back. Toe, ball, heel. Shift the weight onto the right. So the right is now 70%. Number 3. Toe, ball, heel. Forward. Let's check our empty stance here. One line, two side. Up. I'm a little bit wide. Okay. Diagonal flying. Both arms circle down as you shift your weight all the way onto the right so you can pick up onto the left so you can pick up your right foot. Step out. Root with the right foot. Shift your weight across to the corner. Okay, check footwork. This is a bow stance to the corner, so right foot to the corner, left foot to the front. Check. Bow stance. Close the back foot parallel, bring it forward. Check. That's okay. Raise hand, step forward. Shift the weight all the way onto the right foot now. Shift back onto the left. That fills up. Pick up the right foot. Reestablish the heel with the body turning, the arms close. White crane. With the waist movement, pull both arms down. All the weight's going onto the left. Pick up the right, reestablish. Now all the weight onto the right. White crane spreads its wings. Left brush knee. Needle at C bottom. Shift your weight forward, bring the back foot to the center line. Push off with your left heel. Establish, bubbling well on the right. Change footwork to the ball. Come forward. And you're tilted slightly more than usual. Fan through the back. Step out into a bow stance. Okay, so now we're in the torso vertical. So check that your hip is open more than corner so that your torso can be straight with your waist still relaxed. Turn body chop with fist. Shift weight onto the right as you push down with the left, circle up, push down with the right, circle up with the left. Shift your weight onto the left, establish your bubbling well, step out, shoulder width, heel touch, chop out. With your back leg, move the weight forward onto the left. Now this is always a challenging one, so this will be a good test because we've done this turn. So check your bow stance. Back foot in, parallel, are you shoulder width? So we've done turn body chop with fist, parry, block, and punch. Shift weight back, all the weight onto the left leg. Check that you're bubbling well. Onto the right. Move your weight in the direction of the right foot. Your step out with the left foot and then bring it back in again. Just pause here. Check, so that should stop you stepping too far, and punch. Step up, grass bird's tail. And so here we have opening the left toe and then re-establishing weight. So shift weight back slightly, open the left toe as the arms open, re-establish 60% in the left foot. You're pushing into the corner direction. Close the arms as you step through with the right, heel, ball, toe, ward off right. Roll back. Press. Push. Single whip. Again, shift the weight all the way onto the left, bring the right toe around. Now, center your weight on the right. Check that you could just stand on that right leg as long as you wish. Then step out into your left bow stance. And let's stop there. We'll pick it up at cloud hands once we've checked. So are there any questions on this stuff that we've just done?
Not for me, but I thought it was very useful.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Okay. So we'll just keep doing that. Actually, one of the yes, Michael, go ahead.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
I like the when you mentioned that when you stop, look at your feet and turn your it doesn't matter which foot, left or right, and turn it in so you make sure you still have that spread between your shoulder spread. That seems to help a lot. Rather, it keeps me from stepping out too far or being too close. If I just stop for a second, turn my foot in, look, and then turn my foot back out and keep the feet. That helps a lot.
Oh, I'm so happy. Yeah, yeah. Thank you. That's great. Yes, yes.
And I like the fact, and I like the speed you're going right now too. It kind of helps. All right. I gotta go.
I think that when we know the form fairly well, we think a great deal about all the intricacies of it. At least I do, and maybe don't think as much about the basics that we talk about. We need to make sure are really solid, but it's for me, it's a going back and forth, trying to make sure that they're as strong as they need to be.
Yes.
So.
But just to underline what you said, and actually picking up on what Michael said, I mean, we very rarely go at this pace and pay this much attention to footwork. And the fact that at least Michael and I, and maybe you, Marion, we're finding it useful means we're not doing it often enough.
Exactly.
because we focus on the flashy things, which is the arm stuff.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's what I do when I practice. I mean, maybe once in a while I do steel practice or single movement practice, I should say.
Yes.
But I'm not consistent enough, and that's something that I want to work on. So yeah, good.
And so what we'll do probably next time is we'll actually work on the middle body, because today we're working on the lower body, and we'll work on the middle body, which actually is how we move the energy from our feet through our legs up to the hands. And getting those alignments right are very important. As you said, Marion, go ahead.
I spend a lot of time on my middle body now.
Yes.
And I've learned a lot more muscle control. I work on it almost every day,
Great.
Even if I'm not doing moves, I imagine what I'm doing. And it's, boy, that takes a lot of time to develop.
It does. So actually something else. So let's just do this. Let us actually do standing practice in bow stance.
Okay.
Because now we're nice and warm. And what I'd like us to be able to do now is actually attend to our posture checks in bow stance. So let's go into a bow stance. And check your footwork so that you actually, before we do the arms, check that your both feet are solid on the ground, in particular your back heel. It's really easy for us to be so far forward that our back heel is floating. Push back with your front hip so that your back heel is solid on the ground. Check crotch rounded, hip centralized. Now arms up. And so now we'll just do our 4 posture checks. Your torso is tilted forward, but head up. Shoulders sinking. Shoulders sinking, chest. Now absorb the chest and round the back. And actually, I find this is a little bit harder on my arms because I'm lifting my arms a little bit higher relative to my chest than when I'm standing with my chest vertical. And now relax the waist. And adjust your your hip angle by checking your breath. So we've done about a minute. Let's do another minute and just focus on relaxing the waist, finding the right angle of your hips that allow you to breathe smoothly and easily. And if necessary, make sure that your hips are still centralized. You've still got weight over the bubbling well, particularly in the back foot. Breathing smoothly and easily. Head up, shoulders sinking, elbows dropping, chest absorbed. Relax the waist. I find that I actually have more ability to turn my hip down than I usually think. I'm a little bit duck-butted in this stance. Okay, let's go to the other side. Shift your weight back. You should be able to just pick up the front foot if your stance isn't too long. Shift to the other side. Step out. And let's do 2 minutes here. Check your feet. Bubbling well. Crotch rounded. Front leg bent, back leg straight but not locked. Hips centralized. Relax the waist so that the breathing eases and absorb the chest. That should help you to relax the waist. Those two, I find, go together quite well. Each helps the other. Then head up, shoulders sinking, elbows dropping. Those two go together. Breathing check. Crotch rounded. Back heel nice and solid. And I've lost my hips again. Relax the waist. Shoulders down, elbows down. And head up. And so this is the feeling that we have here. We're going to do the second half of the second section now. Let's try and keep this feeling of extension and easy breathing in the abdomen as we do the rest of the form.
So
okay. Yes.
I noticed something. I guess I haven't thought about it too much before, but when I think about the concept of relax, I don't want to have a tense body, like say locked joints, for example, right? But when your knee is bent, you have to have a strong leg to hold your body up, right? In the front. So what I've been doing with my back leg is basically putting my foot where I need it and then trying to use my thigh and my knee to hold my leg in place, but not my buttock muscle, which is also a strength you need to be using, I think, the whole leg, you know. Would you agree with that? I mean, that's not like overly tightening muscles, for example. It's not a locked joint. It's just having an active muscle, right?
Yeah, push and support.
I've been not doing that. I've been so
Right.
So that's something else that now I realize, it's okay to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think sometimes the concept of having a supple body and a flexibility is a little confusing when you're only thinking about, say, joints locked. You know, like you don't want to be limp, but you want to be soft.
Yeah.
No, but if you
and it's not soft.
How do you make that soft, right?
Well, and relax is open and extended.
Yeah.
And you know that how we train soft quotes as opposed to hard is by doing relax, but it's not limp, right?
Right. But it does, I think, include having active muscle.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
You got well said.
Okay. Perfect.
Okay, so let's start in single whip. and we'll go into cloud hands, and we'll go through the second half of the second section. So we are in single whip. Cloud hands, shift the weight to the right, left hand comes all the way across, left foot to the front, pull to the left. Now, this is a case where the feet are parallel. So as we go to the right, check that your feet are parallel and shoulder width apart. Yep, that's okay. So we go to the right now, step out, double wide, go to the left, step closed, pause, check that your feet are parallel and shoulder width apart. So we're going to the left, go to the right, step out double wide. Number 3, we're going to turn the hips and step the right foot to the corner, going into single whip. High pat on horse, shift weight back, sit the right hand. As the weight comes off, bring the right hand to the shoulder, touch with the left foot, establish root, pull with the left, push with the right. Separation kick transition, right. So chest turns to the right, arms open. Left foot comes in and steps out, less than straight, more than straight, less than corner. So let's just pause for a second here. So the back foot should be to the corner, the right foot. The left foot should be less than corner, between corner and straight. Let's check the bow stance. Bring the back foot parallel to the front foot and bring it forward. Do you have a bow stance? You want to have a bow stance here. Okay. So we have done, so we'll cross our arms to the left, stand up, one-legged stance, heel kick. Oh, so not heel kick, separation kick. Change the arms. Number 2, sink, step, heel touch. The right foot is more than straight, less than corner. Cross the arms and pull open. So now, again, let's check. This is a bow stance, so you should have 45 degrees between your feet. Check the width. So pivot on the right heel so that it's parallel to the front foot. Bring it forward. Do you have shoulder width? That's not too bad. Okay. So we're here. Yes. Cross the arms. So you've got the arms crossed, looking towards the right, stand up, right separation kick. Turn body, left heel kick. Left brush knee. As you sink, step out to brush knee. And this is always a good place to check because this is an unusual transition for us. We go from one leg to brush knee or to a bow stance. Check your footwork. Are you in a bow stance? That was left brush knee going into right brush knee. Shift weight back slightly. Open the left toe and re-establish. Move your weight forward. 60% on the left. Now move all the weight to the left in the direction of the left foot. Brush to the corner, touch, and punching down. Shift forward, open the right foot. Now shift the weight in the direction of the right foot. Weight over the bubbling well on the right. Bow stance and punching down. Turn body, chop with fist. Pivot on the left heel, 135 degrees. All your weight pretty much is on the right leg. The more weight you have on your right leg, the easier it'll be to pivot your left heel. Shift your weight onto the left. Make sure you're on the bubbling well. Step out, heel touch. This is a bow stance width. And punch. Check that you got to the bow stance. I'm not going to bring my foot forward. That looks sort of okay. Parry, block, and punch. Weight fills onto the left. Step through, center line to your side with the right. The right is now full. Step through with the left. The left will fill up 60%. Right heel kick. Shift weight back slightly. Open the left toe. Stand up, right heel kick. strike tigers, left, sink, step out, arms closed to the right, weight goes to the right, left foot steps to the back, circle, both arms. Now here, check that you're in a bow stance. Bring your foot up, yes, that's good. But the other thing to check here is when you've got your arms in a punching position, check that your hip is centered and that you're not tilting the way I usually am. Right, strike tiger, shift weight back all the way onto the right foot, pivot on the left to the corner, sink your weight 100% on the left, step in and out, to the right, bow stance, to the right. Now we're going to do right heel kick, and there's a couple of weight transitions I want to be very careful about. First, keep the weight on the right with body turning, open your left toe through 90 degrees. Most of the weight is still on the right. You haven't shifted your weight to the left yet. As you connect out with the left arm, now shift your weight. Close the right foot to the side as the arms cross. Stand up, 100% on the left, heel kick. Boxing opponent's ears. Turn to the corner, step out, bow stance to the corner. And again, this is an unusual direction for us, so check. The left leg should be to the side. The right foot should be to the front left corner. Check your width. Bring the back foot in. Bring it forward. Okay, yep, that's okay. Now we're going to do a left heel kick. Shift forward weight all the way on to the right foot as the arms come down. Stand up, flex the foot, heel kick. Turn body, right heel kick. Sink. Left leg straight out behind you. Keep your torso up. Turn. Weight onto the left leg. Step down with the left heel. Stand up. Right heel kick. Parry, block, and punch. Sink. Heel touch. Arms don't change. As you shift your weight onto the right foot, change the arms. Remember to move your weight in the direction of the right foot. In other words, on the diagonal, not to the side. Step through to block. Heel touch as you block out. And punch. Check that you're in a good bow stance. I'm a little bit wide. Apparent closing up. Feet don't change. Body turning as you do a passing palm. Shift weight onto the right leg 70%. Push with the back right leg onto the left. Now you're 60% on the front. Cross hands, you're shifting your weight all the way to the right. Left foot to the straight. Shift your weight to the left. Bring the right foot in. Stand up. Cross hands. And check that your feet are parallel, shoulder width apart. And stop. All right. Any surprises?
There's always a surprise. Yeah, so that was a good exercise. Yeah, it's a good idea. I have quite a few flaws, so.
And just you know, pick one. Don't try and fix all of them. Just pick one.
Well, you know, getting the balance, it's that when you're getting the position on one leg when you're in transition, especially say for instance, you know, doing the sinking brush knee, it's really easy to get off center on your foot when you have turned, you kicked, and then you're looking behind, you know, you got to really concentrate. So you tip a little bit, next thing you know, your balance is off.
Yes.
So
Yes. Absolutely.
that's a good one.
So let's see, we're almost out of time. So let's just, in the last minute or so, let's just talk about the big turn, because one can always do more work. And Michael, if you have any questions, you can always come on. Okay, so one of the things that I found useful. Okay, so we have done left heel kick. sink left leg behind you, and don't lift it too high. You change your hands. And what I find useful is first just get your body used to the idea. And for me, it's as you turn your body, I'm actually looking through 90 degrees. And then I turn and I land. And as Judith said, there's definitely a bit of Hail Mary in there because you have to have the confidence. The other reminder on this one, this again is footwork, is when we turn, so the left leg starts straight. As we come around, it comes in. So when you, just before you land, the left leg isn't out anymore, it's closer in, and you land on your heel. You should land, ideally, so that you're one leg, two sides when you straighten your right foot, so that you can just lift it up and do the kick. That's what we're going to aim for. So let's just do that one more time. So we've done left heel kick, turn body, right heel kick, sink, leg out, turn, land on the left, stand up and kick.
So I usually land on my toe, and I think that it makes me have to reposition my foot when I do that instead of the heel, you know?
So what Master Young says is it depends on where the foot lands. So
got the toe
what if you think about it, if when you're turning you land close to your right foot, it's most natural to just bring your heel down. But if when you're turning, let's say you have an opponent and you actually have to back off from your opponent, and you're doing a turn and you're landing far away, it makes sense to land with the ball and then go on to the heel.
Yeah.
The way we are asked to do the form is we land with our feet close. That means we land heel first.
I do that, but I'm not doing, I don't know if it's my shoe or what. I'll have to think about, I'll have to try different shoes and see if I can achieve that better. I just want to use the front part of my foot to stop myself so I don't go too far. Okay.
Yeah. Try and work on that.
Yeah.
Okay. We're out of time. Time flies. Actually, is this, as Kermit the Frog said, right?
Yeah.
Time's frogs when you're having flies or something. All right. 同学们再见。
No, sure, 再见。